Hello YouTube, this is Froogle, back with another Froogle Vlogs. One thing I want to get out of the way first of all before we get into the meat of this video, which is Prepared version 2. Vacation. This week in the United States is Thanksgiving on Thursday, which is a national holiday. Friday is typically a holiday as well for many people. I'm going to take the week off following Thanksgiving, so no videos being produced that week. I hope to get enough video content lined up and scheduled to launch while I'm on vacation that you guys are not going without. So if you don't see me responding to comments and are wondering what's up with that, then now you know. I'm taking a break for a week. I think it's fairly well deserved. I'm sure some of you don't agree. Okay, Prepared version 2. This is such a tricky subject. This is the second video I've done today. I was having a chat with the people on Facebook, facebook.com/FroogleSim, where you get to chat with me and talk about behind the scenes stuff on these videos. I was having a chat with a lot of people about the Prepared vlog, this vlog, and decided to re-record it. There are two ways to go with a vlog. I can give you my personal opinion, or I can be a journalist. Typically in the vlogs I give you my personal opinion. I decided this time around to be a journalist. It's such a passionate subject. This is more passionate a subject, I think, than recommending you guys look at X-Plane. So let's try to be journalistic about this. Lockheed just did an interview with Avsim. There's a link in the description below. Click on show more and you'll see it if you can't see it already. In that interview, the Q&A session, they answered a lot of questions about Prepared version 2. A number of people have been saying how excited they are for Prepared version 2, that it radically changes FSX and brings a lot of new stuff to the table. Journalist, trying to be a journalist. I disagree in some aspects. The reason I disagree is actually covered in that interview. There's still no 64-bit support. Lockheed have said, and they said in that Q&A session, if they were to go 64-bit, then all the 32-bit applications, sorry, all the 32-bit add-ons that have 32-bit code in them would need to be redeveloped, recompiled. I can pretty much guarantee you're going to get a split down the middle as to some publishers will release the 64-bit versions for free, other publishers will charge you for them. We already saw that when Prepared came out, with publishers saying, some publishers saying, here's the Prepared version for free and here's the Prepared version for a license. So Prepared version 2 is not a 64-bit app. When it eventually becomes 64-bit, your current investment in FSX is null and void. You'll need to get new versions of everything, hopefully for free, but who knows. There's that. Second of all, people have said that Prepared is more multi-core aware. It's not, and they've said so in the interview. The same tweaks that you have for Affinity Mask in FSX apply in Prepared. It's better behaved in a multi-core and hyper-threading environment than FSX, but it's not a multi-core application. Next thing, what is not changed? Well, they've said in this interview at Avsim, still the same weather engine, still the same scenery mesh globally. So you still need to buy a third-party weather engine. You still need to buy third-party scenery, third-party global meshes, like FTX Global, for example, like Active Sky, my two recommendations. You're still going to need those within Prepared. What has changed is the rendering engine. It is a DirectX 11 rendering engine, so it's more attractive, it looks better, it looks noticeably different to FSX, and we now have volumetric clouds and fog, which improve the environmental effects while you're flying, which is all good stuff. Not a major leap forward by any means, but certainly an improvement. They've also tightened up the memory management in Prepared, so those out-of-memory errors that you would get in FSX on a long trip are gone away, or hopefully gone away. But in tightening that stuff up, they have possibly introduced incompatibilities with some existing add-ons. Time will tell. I guess we'll find out tomorrow when the sim comes out. The next question that I get a lot is about the license. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. The license for Prepared says that you can use it for training, you can use it for learning, you can use it for simulation. Based on those three clauses, any FSX user would be eligible to use Prepared. The question is which license. Now, if you actually look closely at the table here, the license says that if you want to get the academic one, you need to be an undergraduate student, or you need to be a student, basically, using it in an academic setting. That's the $60 license. If you're not a student, you really need to be going for that $200 license, which a lot of people will go, hell no at. And I can understand that. Regardless, Lockheed are not checking credentials. They never have. So if you don't want to spend the $200, there's nothing really stopping you going and buying the $60 version. You're not going to have Lockheed police knocking on the door saying, I understand you've been illicitly using our simulator. That's not going to happen. So a lot of people are going to go to the $60 version. I am going to go the $200 version, simply because I want to set I don't want to set an improper standard. So for me, I'm not a student, I'm not a certified instructor, So the only license that applies to me realistically is the $200 one. So in terms of videos on this channel, there will be a review. It's going to be a couple of weeks away, again because of the vacation, but also because on Froogle Sim, I take my time and tend to produce quite detailed, thorough reviews rather than rushing something out to get a lot of hits on day one. 777. Oops. Moving on though. Videos beyond that. Now, it's very tricky. Microsoft are not a big fan of us putting up videos of FSX. My claim there against claims from Microsoft has always been the journalistic angle. I'm a journalist. I write for Flight Simulator magazines. As a result, that brings in fair use, freedom of reporting, and so on and so on. I'm not sure how we're going to get away with it in Prepared. I'm not sure if we can get away with it in Prepared. I'm certainly going to do the review video. I'm certainly going to review add-ons that are Prepared specific. Not dual FSX and Prepared, but Prepared specific. Now the reason for that is actually the big improvements in Prepared, which a lot of people are hiding, or not paying too much attention to. Lockheed have said openly a number of times, and on this AbSim interview, they are very open to working with developers, and that is a good thing. Although Prepared version 2 is still a 32-bit, so in some respects legacy application. How many people are still running 8-bit DOS applications today? At a certain point, 32-bit is going to be too old to run anymore. But for now, okay, I'll accept for now, a lot of you still want to do that. They have said that they're very open to working with third-party developers. So they've extended and they cleaned up and added to the SDK, the software development kit that developers use to plug their add-ons into the simulator. That is improved. In addition, they have said that if you're a developer and you're developing add-on aircraft or scenery or whatever for the simulator, and you need a function in the SDK which is not already there, then they are open to talking to you and extending that SDK. Over time, this should raise the bar on add-ons again. Yeah, we already saw the bar raised in FSX because through the life of FSX as a platform, we've seen developers like A2A, like PMDG, develop methods of going beyond the sim and externalizing certain parts of an add-on to really add value to the sim itself, but without working within constraints of the sim. This raises the bar even higher in that these developers can now talk to Lockheed and get new stuff added into the SDK that they need to produce really high quality add-ons. I think the future looks very, very bright in that respect. It's not bright on day one from what I can see, and now this is the Froogle opinion. Day one, it's an improved, less buggy, slightly more attractive looking version of FSX. But over time, I can see that it would improve considerably, could improve considerably. The point that I am perhaps most interested to see, it could go really badly, but the point I'm most interested to see about Prepared version 2 is something called Sim Director. Now, Sim Director is a tool which lets you build, they call them missions. And you can see from Lockheed's background, Lockheed's core business, this is really for mission planning and high-level flight instruction. That's actually pretty cool in that you can basically record a flight and then edit that flight to call out specific things in the cockpit, so highlight areas that the pilot needs to be paying attention to. For me personally, if that holds up the way I hope it does, this could be very good. We'll see. It could be very good because it could add supplementary content to channels like this. So if you're watching a flight sim channel such as Froogle Sim or one of the other ones out there, then you could be watching a video about how to fly, say, the 777. Sorry, not the 777. PMDG don't support PREPAR3D. Prepared. But you could be watching a tutorial video about how to fly an aircraft like A2A's 172, and I could actually record that flight and then produce a flight director mission that you could download, which would let you fly the mission, but with me adding stuff to the cockpit to say, hey guys, check this out, check this out, check this out, which could be very good and add a ton of substance to this channel. We'll wait and see how well it works in practice. You know, there are certain questions there of what if you don't have the scenery that I have? What if your weather is slightly different to my weather? All that kind of stuff. We'll find out when it releases tomorrow. But that's something very interesting and very important, I think, to keep an eye on. Now, as I mentioned, Prepared version 2 launches tomorrow. It's available for download from the PREPAR3D.com website. Just hand over your credit card and download it according to the license that you choose. You should probably go for the $200 one, but even so, like I said, most of you are going to go 60 bucks. Now the opinion bit. As I indicated, I'm not terribly excited right now for a day one release of this. I'm really not. It's a more attractive version of FSX, but still within the constraints of FSX. So not 32-bit, not multi-core. Sorry, not 64-bit, not multi-core, but with less bugs, more attractive, but with the same weather engine, same scenery, so you still need your add-ons working there. I'm not massively overhyped and excited about it. I am quite hopeful for the future, though. I think with Lockheed really opening up to working with developers and extending and improving the platform over time with their help, I think it could become something great. Interesting to see what happens when eventually it does go 64-bit, and very interested to see which developers decide to charge for the 64-bit updates. Hopefully none of you, but it's a small market, it's a niche market, there's not a lot of money to be made, so couldn't really hold it against anybody if they did decide to charge. What a non-committed vlog this is. It's really good, but it's not. I'm not excited, but it could be really good. The other route that I went earlier with the previous video would have, I think, angered too many of you, so I'll keep my mouth shut and we'll take a look when it releases. We'll take a look at the full version when it releases. We'll do a video on it, and videos over time, we'll see what happens. As always, my name is Froogle. Do check out facebook.com/FroogleSim, and I'll see you all soon.